For the 2023-24 school year, any program using the Early Learning Assessment, ELA, as part of the requirements for Early Childhood Education Grant, ECE, and or the preschool special education, PSE, funded children must enter all student ratings in the Ready for Kindergarten online KReady system. Programs will not report ELA results in EMIS or EAS as they have in previous years. So that's a big change this year from the prior years. For the 2023-24 school year, there are two options to meet the requirement for ECE and PSE programs. Option one can assess children funded by ECE or PSE using the set of 10 required learning progressions, including the 24 skills or SKBs, in the fall and spring, and report ratings in the Ready for Kindergarten Online KReady system. This is the same set of SKBs that ECE and PSE programs have been using for many years. So there's no change there if you select option one. Option two, you have the option to participate in an optional early learning assessment pilot. This assesses children funded with a set of 25 SKBs in the fall and spring and enter ratings in the Ready for Kindergarten Online KReady system. This is a different set of SKBs derived from the comprehensive ELA and will include a new oral motor progression. Again, we encourage you to please visit the Early Learning Assessment for administrators or email elahelp@education.ohio.gov for more information and specific participation details. So again, we want to encourage you to take a look at the information that's available there for you if you're interested in those options, or option two, to get more details about the pilot and information as far as participation in general in this assessment window. All right, so now we'll talk a little bit about the data manager role and the responsibilities associated with the data manager. It's important to understand your role as a data manager in this program. We know that data managers' job titles and overall responsibilities differ from district to district and include district test coordinators, EMIS coordinators, building administrators, and many others. We'd like to define the data manager role in the context of the KReady system. For this program, a data manager is the individual that has access to teacher and student demographic information in the KReady system for the KReady assessments. In this case, this is for the ELA assessment. Data managers are responsible for adding and managing teachers, students, and enrollment data in the system, as well as exporting teacher collected scores and information or reports. Data managers work with building administrators and teachers to ensure that the data submitted is as accurate and complete as possible. You must first be identified as an assessment data manager, preschool and kindergarten in OEDS prior to having access to the KReady system as a data manager. Visit the OEDS page on the Ohio Department of Education site for information regarding how to be added as an assessment data manager, preschool and kindergarten for your location. Once you are set up as an assessment data manager in OEDS, you will need to reach out to the help desk to have your account set up. You will receive an email once that account is ready. And we encourage you to be sure to watch out for that email as the link does expire. Be sure to check your spam folder if there's no message received within an appropriate time frame. You can also contact the help desk for assistance with this process. So again, we want to encourage you to reach out to the help desk once you have access in OEDS as a data manager, or once you have the title or assignment as the assessment data manager. Please reach out to the help desk so that we can get you set up with your KReady account. For programs licensed through the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services who are not established in Ohio Department of Education's directory system, the data manager can be assigned by an administrator listed in the Ohio Child Licensing and Quality System, or OCLQS. So there's a way for you to also gain access or be assigned as a data manager in the system through that process. All right, so then once you have access as a data manager, the next step is getting into the KReady system. The Ready for Kindergarten online system, or KReady system, is the tool used to facilitate collection, monitoring, and reporting of student ratings for the early learning assessment. The data manager's use of this tool involves adding user and student data to the system and then monitoring the system to ensure that scores are being added by teachers. There are 3 methods to load data into the KReady system. The first is manually, and that simply is entering data directly into the system, one person or one user at a time. And so again, that's done through a direct input of that information into the system. The second way is using the bulk loader, and that's entering information in the KReady system in bulk using templates. That's usually done for larger numbers of data points. So when you're adding entire classes or entire locations, multiple teachers, you're going to want to use the bulk loader to do that. And then lastly, there's an automated process, and that is entering data in the KReady system through Secure File Transfer Protocol, or SFTP. Again, this is for larger districts. They may be interested in that process, and we will encourage you to reach out to the help desk if that is something of interest to you. For the purposes of this webinar, we're going to talk about methods 1 and 2 specifically, and we'll walk you through how to do that. The system uses CSV templates for importing users, teachers, administrators, as well as student and enrollment data. The required elements for administration are as follows. You need to add teacher, student, and enrollments information. So those are the things that are required in order to utilize the system. Other data loads are performed as needed, and those would include, doing unenrollment or adding administrators, building administrators to the system so they can view the data and view reports. Instructions for the templates can be located in the data guidelines document. The templates are available in the bulk loader section of the KReady system, and we will demonstrate how to access that in this session. It's important to remember that when formatting the templates for loading into the system, you need to remember the following things here. First, do not remove or change any of the headers. So when you download these templates from the system, do not change the headers or anything. The information will be distorted and will not load properly in the system if you do. It's important that you format the cells that require leading zeros. Those would be the district ID cells of the school ID. So those are the IRN numbers, and we'll walk you through how to do that when we go to the live session here, live part of the session. And then also for the date of birth, it's important to enter that using the proper format of 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year. Template that is used is a CSV file, and it just needs to be saved as a CSV file when you're uploading that information back into the KReady system. All this information is contained in the data guidelines, and we encourage you to see that or the data manager guide for additional information. There's a manual there, and again, in the PDF version of this, both of those are clickable, and you can have direct access to those. And so with that, we're going to now show you how to load data into the system, and we'll walk you through, that process of getting information into the system. We're going to do that in 2 ways. The first is manually, and we'll provide a demonstration of how to add that information into the system manually. I'm going to walk us through adding users, teachers, and administrators, and adding students and enrollment data to the KReady system.
We will first start with how to add a user manually. How to add a user account manually. Log in and select administration. On the left-hand navigation, select Users, and then click on Add User. From here, you will put in the user's information, their email address, their location, the password. In the password field, you will put in any password you like as long as it follows the password requirement. After you create the account, the system will send a password to the user, so you don't have to share the password with the user. Add the role and select Save and Open. Once they are open, check on your details page, make sure everything is correct. Go to Organizations right next to Details. In administration level, select the drop-down arrow next to Regions and select Districts. From here, you will want to make sure you add the user to your district. Select Add. From here, it's asking for district ID. Now, this will be the teacher credential ID, which is 2 letters and 7 digits, or you can use the teacher's email address. Add that in, select Save. Now you will see the user is connected to the district. Check on the locations and make sure they're added to at least one. If they have multiple locations, you will add them to the multiple locations there. All right, now I'd like to show you how to add the student manually. Adding a student manually through the Students tab, select Administration. On the left-hand navigation, go to Students. Select Add Student. From here, you will type in the student information, their state student ID, their date of birth, their gender, the race, the disability code if applicable, the region, the district, and the location. By default, these 3 items are selected as no. If they need to be moved to yes, simply toggle over to the right for each of the items. Select Save and Open. Once the student opens, you will double check your Details tab if you need to add or edit any information. Select the Enrollments tab for that student. From here, you are going to assign the teacher. Select Assign Teacher. Type in the teacher's information, click Assign, and hit Finished. To assign the data collection, you will need to open the student up a little bit further. Underneath the location, you will select the word location that is underlined, which opens the student up a little bit further. From here, you will now see the Data Collection Assignment tab. You will assign the data collection from here, hit Assign, and Finished. Double check your Enrollments tab to ensure that the teacher is attached, and the point of authority to confirm that that is correct for your district.
And now we're going to take a look at how to add data using the bulk loader. Again, we'll look at loading users, which includes teachers and administrators, student enrollment data. I'm going to talk a little bit about the data collection token.
Log in and select Administration. On the left-hand navigation, select Bulk Loader. Bulk loading files is a process that is generally used by medium to larger districts who have a large amount of teacher or student data they need to add to the KReady system. Data managers download and enter the information to complete their CSV files. Then they upload those templates into the KReady system. From here, once you select Bulk Loader, select Templates. You will then select your drop-down arrow next to Select a Template. You have Students, Teachers, and Enrollments. We'll start with Teachers. You have an All Fields or Required Fields. All fields will contain all available fields for the assessment. Required fields will contain only fields that are required to administer the assessment. This is if you quickly want to enter in the data and then we'll come back later and fill in an all fields template. We recommend doing an all fields. Once that downloads, you want to go ahead and open that up and you will see a blank teacher template with a district ID, which is going to be your school district or main organization's IRN number, your teacher ID, which is going to be either the teacher's educator ID, which is 2 letters and 7 digits, or their email address. The school ID is for the actual location, the building IRN number, the teacher's email address, their first and last name. Once you have that template filled out, you are then able to go ahead and upload that file. But you want to remember, first, format for leading zeros. Most schools, organizations have a leading zero. So the 2 columns that will need to be formatted is column A and column C. Once those are done, you will save it, and we recommend just minimizing it. Going back to your bulk loader. If you select the Uploads tab, you will see everything that you have uploaded so far this year. To upload the teacher file, select Upload File, select your template type, select Teachers. Now you're going to find the file that you just recently saved. And we recommend putting it somewhere easy to find on your desktop, somewhere you can easily locate it. Once you have it, double-click that file, attach it, select Upload. Now, files can stay in queued status up to 24 hours. You want to give this at least a couple minutes to upload. While that's uploading, you can go ahead and go through your other templates. All right, next one will be the students. Log in and select Administration. On the left-hand navigation, select Bulk Loader. Bulk loading is the process that is generally used by medium or large organizations who have a sizable amount of teacher and student data to add to the system. Data managers download and enter the information on a CSV file by using the templates. Then they upload those templates into the KReady system. Here you see 3 tabs: the Uploads, Automated, and Templates. Select Templates. Select the drop-down arrow and select your template. We are going to go ahead and select Students. Now you have an All Fields and a Required Fields. An All Fields is going to contain all available fields for the assessment. Required Fields is going to contain fields that are required to administer the assessment. Now, this is often used as a quick way to get the data into the system, and then it is recommended later on coming back and doing an all fields. So you fill in all of any extra fields for those students for that data. Select the all fields. Once that template downloads, go ahead and open that up. And what you will see is the entire spreadsheet for all fields, what needs to be entered for each of the students. For this specific template, you will be filling in columns A through J, as well as columns W through Z. So let's go back through. Column A, this is going to be the district ID. This will be the organization's IRN number. The main is going to usually start with a 0, and that will be the 6-digit number listed for that district ID. Next one is going to be the district student ID. Now, this field is a lot of times given to students
by the organization, by the district as an additional identification number. Column B does not need to be filled in. It is not required in order to upload this file. So you can either add that or you don't. If you don't have it, don't want to, that's okay. The state student ID. Now this is going to be the 2-letter, 7 digits number for each student. They are given a specific number. If you do not have that number, a 2-letter and 7-digit, you can refer back to our Ohio K-12 help page, and you can actually find the unique identifying assignment for a student that does not have one. The school ID, this will be the building IRN number, the building ID. So if you have multiple buildings for your district or your organization, this is going to narrow that down just a little bit further. Student first name, student middle name. Middle name is not required as well. So column F and column B, you do not have to fill out, but you can. Column G is going to be the student last name, date of birth, the race, and the gender. Going over to column W, this is going to be the IEP. Next is going to be the disability code, and this ranges from 1 to 16. Column Y is the low socioeconomic status. And lastly is the English language learner. Once you have all of these filled out, what you'll need to do is next go into formatting. So for each file, they do need to be formatted correctly for leading zeros, as well as the date of birth and the disability code. So the columns that need to be formatted is going to be column A, which most organizations and districts have a leading zero. So for instance, it may be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total of 6 numbers. So when you type that in, the 0 does fall away. So you do need to format column A and column D. To do that, highlight the column and you will right click. You will then go down to Format Cells, select Custom, and a lot of times I select this first 0, get your cursor back up there where it's a blinking cursor, and then type an additional 5 zeros. So it's a total of 6. Hit OK. And that way the leading 0 will be there when you have a fronting 0, leading 0. The next one is going to be column H, and you'll right click, go down to Format Cells. And from here, you want the date of birth to be month, day, / YYYY. Once you type that in, select OK. And now you see 07/01/2018. And the last column is going to be the disability code. So currently you have a 6 and a 12. So for that 6, it does have the leading 0 there. So to do that is formatting the cell, formatting that column, select custom. And again, I go up to that 1 0 and I type in that additional 0. Select OK. And now you see it is listed as that 06 and 12 as 12. Once that's done, you want to save that somewhere you can easily find it and then minimize it. Now let's go back to the bulk loader in the KReady system. Select Upload File. Select your template type. And then select your file. You will go exactly where you found or where you saved that file earlier. Once you attach it, select Upload. To see all of the files that you have uploaded into the bulk loader, go back to the first tab where it says Upload, and you will see your files that you have completed. You will see the status, whether there are additions, updates, if there was any errors, or if the status is sitting in queued currently for the student file. Once that comes back complete and has any additions or updates, you can download those results. If there is any errors, you can select download validation errors and go through to figure out what happened with that file to get that to go and upload into the KReady system. Once complete, you are now able to move forward to the next template and get that all set to upload to your KReady system. And then lastly will be the enrollments. Log in and select administration. On the left-hand navigation, select bulk loader. Here is the 3 tabs you see for the bulk loader: uploads, automated, and templates. Select templates. The process of using the bulk loader is generally used with medium to larger organizations or districts who have a sizable amount of data to add to the system. Data managers download and enter the information by using a CSV template. Then those templates are uploaded into the KReady system. Once you select the drop-down arrow next to select a template, select your template type, student, teachers, enrollments. You have an all fields and a required fields. So the all fields template will contain all available fields for the assessment. The required fields template will contain only fields that are required to administer the assessment. This is often used to get the data into the system quickly. It is recommended that after you upload a required fields, come back before the end of the window and do an all fields template to make sure all student information is entered. Select all fields. Once that template downloads, you want to go ahead and open that up. And what you will see for the enrollments file is column A is going to be the data collection token. This data collection token can be found back in the KReady system underneath data collections. The district ID, which will be the organization district IRN number, usually starts with a 0 and is 6 digits. The district student ID, this is identification number that is given sometimes by the organization or district for that specific student. The state student ID number, which will be 2 letters and 7 digits. The school ID, this will be the building IRN number. So if you have multiple buildings underneath your organization or district, this is narrowing it down to that specific building. The student first name, the student's last name, the date of birth, then the teacher ID. Now this is going to be what you put on your teacher file earlier. So whether it was the teacher educator ID, which is the 2 letter and 7 digits, or if it was the teacher's email address. Once you make sure that you have that matched up to exactly what you have in a KReady system, you add that there, the teacher first name and a teacher last name. Once all of this information is filled in, next step is to format for the leading zeros. So for column B, now this is the district ID as well as column E, the school ID. Both of these do need to be formatted for leading 0. Most organizations or districts do start with a leading 0. So you want to make sure that leading 0 stays. To format, right click, go down to format cells, select custom, select that first 0 underneath general, and then put your cursor right underneath. Type to where you have a blinking cursor after 0, and then type an additional 5. You want a total of 6 zeros here. Select OK. You'll do that same thing for column E. And last column that you need to format is going to be the date of birth. So same thing, highlight the column, right click, format cells, select custom, and then select go back to the 0. And what I do is just delete that 0. Type in MM/DD/YYYY. Hit OK. And now you see the date of birth as 07/01/2018. Once you save that where you can easily find that, we recommend minimizing this, going back to your KReady system, selecting Upload File. From here, you will select the template type, which is Enrollments, and then select your file. Find exactly where you found that, where you saved that file. And from here, you go ahead and attach it. Once it's attached, select Upload. To see all of the uploads you have done so far this year, for this school year, select your Uploads tab. This will have a list of all of the files that you have uploaded, the additions or updates, and the status. So you do see there are different statuses. You have a complete, and if there are additions or updates, you have an error. So if there are any errors you want to take a look at and see what that issue was, what that error was, and get that corrected to get that file uploaded correctly. The top one here that we just uploaded can be in queued status up to 24 hours. If the file is in queued status over 24 hours, please reach out to the help desk to report the issue of this still being in queued status. Once you give this a little time, if it does not upload, just refresh your browser. You want to give it at least a minute or so. And once that comes back, you'll be able to then confirm with your teachers that they can see all of the students listed in their rosters for the specific assessment.
Data collection token.
Correct. I want to make sure and stress exactly where to find that. And as you saw, where we put it on the enrollment file, which is that column A. So I'd like to kind of go over those different reports that is available to you for the early learning assessment. So first you see is the data downloads report. So this is an Excel file, and this is going to show your teachers. You can use the drop down. It will show a teacher, a student, and an enrollment data that has been entered into the system. So this is really good for you as a data manager to check and confirm what has been added to the system. It's more of a managerial report to make sure you're up to date on what everything is. Now, this report is available both during and after the administrative window. The last report here is going to be the SKB ratings report. So, and again, this is going to be an Excel file, and it will show your teachers and the specific students and what scores have been entered for each item. So this is a perfect example of a report that helps you monitor what items have been entered, what scores have been entered for each student, for each teacher. And again, this one is going to be available both during and after the window.
And so now I'll talk a little bit about some of the supports that are available to you during this assessment window. I'll start with one that you should all know very, very well. If not, we want to encourage you to do so, and that is that the Ohio Department of Education's site for early learning assessment for administrators. This is a place you want to go to get information about policy and guideline information, as well as some kind of background and context, just an understanding of what the ELA is, so that you're able to better assist and support the teachers that are conducting the assessment. So that information is available here on the site. Again, also there's more information about your role and specific resources for you as a data manager as it relates to your requirements and responsibilities associated with reports and getting information into the system. So again, we want to, highlight that as a place to go. I'm going to actually go live and show the ODE site. As I mentioned about the information that was new for the 23-24 school year, and I suggested coming to this site, this is where you can get the details about those changes in the updates. Take a look at the overview document if you're interested, or if your location's interested in the pilot. There are specific requirements here that need to be met. There's a form that needs to be completed by September 15th. So again, I want to encourage you to come to this site to get the details of that. And again, that's on the Early Learning Assessment for Administrators page. If you're brand new to this, which you shouldn't be, but you might be, if you come to the department's website and you click on topics and go to early learning, and then scroll down to early learning assessment. And here again, this is just overview about the assessment. This is really great context and background information about the assessment if you're new to this. And then over on the left-hand side where it says quick links, you'll see a link here for early learning assessment for administrators. So there you go. That's how you get to that information that's specific for data managers. The support site here for the Ohio K-12 Help, the help desk. I want to just point out a couple of quick things, and then I'll show you some things on the site itself. The first is the phone number for support. It's right there, 844-K-12 Ohio, or 844-512-6446. You can reach out to us if you have questions or need some support, some technical help. We also have a web form, which I'll show you how to access that form, which is really probably the best way to get that because it allows our team to have tracking of your problem and the solution. And then certainly we can provide you additional information that way as well. We provide support by role, as well as some how-to videos, training that you're participating in today. And so there's a plethora of things that are available to you as a data manager on that support site. So on the main page, if you come to Ohio K-12 Help and you click on Ready for Kindergarten Online Support, it's going to bring you to the support for the entire KReady program here. We're supporting both ELA and KRA, both teachers and data managers. So here, you're going to get some quick answers to some general questions. Here you're going to see a calendar. This is a great place to come so you can keep track of the window. We've put some things there that give you details about the webinars that are coming up. So that's a great place to go for that. And then here under news, we replicate the Gov delivery. So if you happen to miss that or lose that in an email, you can always come back to this page. So you have another location to come to and get access to that. Here again, support by role. So you're going to want to click on Data Manager, and by doing so, it'll take you to the page that's specific for you. And again, all the information that we've been talking about today about how you get access. You're going to find videos here, resources on how to get information into the system, how to add information to the KReady system. And so again, we want to make sure that you know what's available to you. A lot of the things that we've talked about today, we've created some help files for kind of some 1, 2, 3 steps that are available to you as well. And you can get to that on this page. If you do need support, if you click on Request Support, it's going to bring you to our support form. Now, it's going to take a while for that form to load because it's actually loading every single location that's participating in the early learning assessment and the kindergarten readiness assessment. So it takes a little while for that to load. Please just give it a second. But once it loads, you'll find the form here. And it's very, very simple to use. Again, we want to encourage you to come to this and use this if you do need support from the help desk. You're going to want to click on this little drop down here and just begin typing your location. I want to highlight this because you're going to want to make sure you select the location that's in the county that you're in as well. So you see here, there are 3 different perilocals, but they're in 3 different counties. So let's say we're talking about the perilocal in Stark County. So you'll select that. and then enter the rest of your information. If for some reason your location does not appear here, if you start typing the word other, OTHER, down the very bottom of the list, you'll see other program not listed. Once you select that, a field will open up for you to enter the name of your location and the county that you're in. You can select that, your county that you're in, and then again, complete the rest of the information to submit your support request. If you have a screenshot, if there's something going on in the system and you've taken a screenshot and you want to show us that, you can upload that file here and then submit your request, certainly after you enter some details about what the issue or challenge is that you're having. So again, I wanted to make sure we showed this, and so that you understand how to get information to us, but also so that you can see that we've simplified that process for those of you that have used it before. And then lastly, I'll share just the data manager training site. Here again is where you'll find the video that will be posted, as well as the notes from today's session, the Q&A from today's session. We're going to be archiving and placing the information about the webinars here on the data manager training page. I want to just point out a couple of things about the calendar. The window has opened. It opened on yesterday and for ELA, and will close on November the 14th. And then the spring window will open February 15th and close on May 14th. So again, we want to encourage data managers to be working with the locations, the schools and the teachers, administrators, to ensure that all that information, all that data is entered by or before November 14th, 11:59 on November 14th. So please download your SKB ratings reports frequently, check to see which locations have entered data and which ones have not, and encourage those that have not entered data to do that prior to November 14th for the fall window.